Safe setup opinions of the EUC. On this particular EUC, I have a set of pads permanently fixed to the wheel, so I'm not moving them around with Velcro. I have a standing position with a large back brake pad, and on the front standing position, this top pad here has this little thing I came up with. I call it a knee hugger, and it wraps around your leg slightly, so that I sort of found as I moved up the heavier weight classes of the wheel that when you stand on the wheel, you can add your ability to pull it with your knee by having this top piece wrap around your shin slightly, and so therefore you're able to pull the wheel like that. And I sort of found that with the more so with the bigger, heavier wheels, but I've put it on this wheel as well because I like the idea. This pad has a deep cutout here for a sitting position. So in a sitting position, your foot can swivel out just slightly, and it goes around this position here, and your shin leans against that, giving you something to lean on. Because I'm seeing some riders who swivel their foot outside the pads, and then there's nothing to lean on. And I know from experience that I have actually fallen over the front of my wheel, and it wasn't any fault of the wheel, it was totally rider error. Anyway, I've changed my setup to adapt to it. So this lower pad here has two positions. It has a foot position for standing, and then it has a second position for sitting with a second cut-in shape there. And in the sitting position, my leg comes back up and through this way and tucks into this curve here. Now this curve has a fin that sticks out so that I'm able to hook my knee underneath it, again stopping me from sliding off the front. And I'm also able to tuck my knees in to be much more streamlined. This motorcycle fuel tank hump at the front here is, I find, extremely important to stop me sliding over the front. If I were to ever hit a massive hole, whether I saw it or not, hit it anyway and slid right off the front of the wheel. So with all these different positions folding me in, I feel much more secure than I had previously. This one's got a little bit of a grab handle as well for braking, so you can just grab it with your hand and pull it back, this type of thing. Big back brake pad. So that's the guts of the pad setup. My tyre, now at the moment I have been looking at Moose's. My tyre isn't tubeless, it's a tubeless, so this particular one is a 80-90-17 roughly. Whatever this one says, that's the tyre that fits on there anyway. And in this tubeless tyre there is a Moose, which is a solid rubber piece of foam, and I chop it up so that I'm able to not disassemble the wheel and just peel the tyre up, install each little piece, put it in there, fill it up with a slippery Moose cooling gel, lubricant gel, and that keeps the Moose from wearing out from heat and friction. And the upshot of using the Moose, and the reason I have it in there, is that if the tyre were to get a puncture and blow out instantly at speed, let's say, with this Moose in there, the tyre can't go flat. It will only, the air will go out, the tyre will drop slightly onto the Moose, and I can continue to ride. And even this old Moose in here, I can easily get another 130 kilometres before I would be requiring to, peel the tyre up, insert another small piece of Moose to take up a one gap that will start to open up over a period of time from heat and friction. So, as far as I'm concerned, the safety benefits of having that piece of rubber mousse in there is, I find that is quite a major one for me. Like tyres deflating on a single wheel thing, I've had it happen a bunch of times, instant total failure, often from tube valves failing after 500 kilometres, and that was too scary for me. And so with the mousse in there as well on a tubeless system, I don't have to worry as much if the air goes out. It doesn't really mean that much. I can carry on safely. So that's my basic overview of the safety of the setup. I think that as a rider, you have to watch out that you're not a Superman Blaze King the whole time. And warming up as a thing, I think that I find people don't generally realise that electronics also need to warm up, like a car engine might. And a rider getting on cold, now this is just my opinions and not advice, but a rider also getting on a wheel cold, those first couple of minutes where you readapt and reconnect with your wheel, and the wheel is warming up, everything is warming up. So I always think, take your time, hold yourself back, just, build up to it. And I've already talked in the past about, getting a smaller wheel than the one that would eventually suit you, so that you get to hit speeds that will cause wobbles. Now, I'm not saying to do it, but I think that riders should have hit wobbles a lot of times on a small wheel before they consider getting something big and fast, because those effects will only kick in on a bigger wheel at certain speeds. And I would suggest or give the opinion that it would be very wise to have those skills to be able to operate the device, when those skills are required at those speeds, when those effects will kick in. On a small wheel, you can get to those effects much quicker and in a slow distance much safer. Much safer. All right, that's my opinions on a quick overview of safety. All right, good luck, ride safe, keep rocking.